Hey Jill, it's Jesse. I had a couple extra minutes, so I just wanted to make you a video, kind of tell you why I approached you in the first place. When I created the breath belt, or the reason why I created it is just to get over my own injury. I told you I had a hip flexor and a labrum. I can get into that another time. But just from teaching Pilates, yoga practice, being around athletes, teaching thousands of kids, people lose the connection. It's all about that rib to hip connection, and just from sitting, nothing, preaching to the choir here, shitty chairs and tight hip flexors just never ends. So obviously female anatomy a little bit different, bigger natural anterior pelvic tilt, so it's much easier to get caught in that position at a young age. And of course it gets harder and harder to get out of it if you don't understand your body. So there's two reasons I wanted to reach out to you. So one is the tune-up ball. The breath belt, I've been extremely successful just with tennis balls and racket balls, but I really like your tune-up balls. And it's rare that two products get to complement each other so well, but for something like yoga, it's absolutely needed. So, the breath belt's amazing for anybody with a pair of hips, whether it's worn just 5 minutes before class or during your practice. So I just love how, I love your knowledge, your explanation of everything. I like the different sizes in the balls, and especially on the postnatal side, which we'll get to in a second. But, it just, you put a lot of hard work in those tune-up balls, and, I could go to China and get some balls made, but it's not worth the effort, and it's great to collaborate with people just like you, because I don't want to be the master of the pressure balls. I just want to do the breath belt and help everybody out I can, because it's going to be a successful product, and I'm not going to stop anytime soon. I think it can be a pretty long-term product. So the other reason I'm reaching out to you is just your overall knowledge and experience. And I'm sure you can tell I don't have a pair of ovaries, so I really do think I have plenty of sisters and cousins and aunts who had diastasis issues in the past. I even have an uncle who's like 68. He's got some diastasis too, and I've tested it on him. I think this can assist or aid the process. I know there's a lot of so many issues, so it's not perfect for every single woman, depending on just whatever happened. But this year I've gone to so many, I've been the only guy at so many postnatal conferences just to see what the physios are teaching the postnatal women, more importantly what they know about their body. And it turns out the women and men all over the world know nothing about their body, so we're starting from scratch. So so really just your overall yoga experience, of course, postnatal. So I want to talk about just a couple other things, so you see where I'm getting at. I want to talk about the Psoas. So I know you know your anatomy, you know your stuff, but no NFL player knows what their psoas is. No, maybe 1 out of 40 yoga teachers that I've been with have even had their psoas released. So obviously a lot of that pressure, with the tilts and adductor minimus and the psoas, it works its way out. We can go into it as deep as you like, but no, you can't feel your psoas, you can't feel your adductor minimus unless your body awareness is incredible, but a 20-year-old can't get it anyway. So all this tension that's affecting people's sleep and all the digestion and everything, as deep as you want to go, it starts from the inside out. So when a client's psoas is released, if they're on their back, you have your knee up. First, you're going to test their breathing so they can reteach them how to diaphragmatically breathe, so you can get your hand deeper and deeper inside to eventually release it. That basically 1% of people actually breathe properly, and it's even on both sides. And most people have a stronger side, one side or the other. So with me, my right side is like spaghetti. When I was a kicker, I would be kicking, I had a big backswing. No one taught me how to stabilize this, which is what I'm helping young kids do this today. So my plant leg got super strong. This is strong. And the one coming up, this got overly stretched and overly weak. So over time, just with a little tilt, I lost my external rotation on my plant leg, which is the one on the ground, and my internal rotation on my kicking leg, which was over externally rotated. So that's kind of the story, but just because other people aren't kicking footballs, it doesn't mean that's, they're just dealing with hip imbalance, but it's the same thing for everyone. Of course, it works its way up from the feet, so ankle and hip mobility and all that stuff. But so with the breath belt, 4 or 5 minutes balances me out. And it works with everybody. I've tried it with grandmothers, with little kids. So anyone with a pair of hips, it just works. It corrects posture, sway back, anything. So, and it just gets the story going. So I have thousands of high school boys, which are the hardest person to teach anything, and they can get it on FaceTime in like 1 minute. And I have a billion pictures to kind of prove that. So the last thing is, there's the way I want to get at it. I just think there's a better way to teach it than a lot of people. A lot of instructors that I've worked with before, not all instructors. So people just don't understand the difference between anterior pelvic tilt and neutral, and rightfully so. You can't see your freaking hips. So I like going in the position your body finds when you throw up at a toilet. No one ever sticks their butt out. That contraction is gonna create that traction from spine all the way down to your booty, to create that space to tighten up those lower core muscles, get that food out or that sneeze or whatever it is. So all the primal functions, usually there's a little vertebrae spacing in there. So that's kind of the way I like to teach it. So kind of, when they put the belt on, they'll either be on their back or they'll be hands on their knees. Now they'll actually get, the way I teach it, I'll give somebody's on their knees, put their knees straight up. I'll give them a flat back and I tell them to almost arch, deactivate their core, exhale all the way out. I'm just using my fingers until their core pushes out their fingers. And I'm gonna strap that belt on tight. And the second I stand up, my hip flexors are gonna be lengthened, my upper butt's gonna be fired up, and automatically my stability is better, and my hyperextension is now gone. It's an athletic bend. So the last thing I wanted to say was, we need a test, and the single standing straight leg test is a perfect test for anybody with the anterior pelvic tilt. So just because the female anatomy with a bigger tilt, they can, if somebody has a tilt or their butt is sticking out or a bigger rib to hip connection, they can still get their knee up out here with the tilt. But with the tilt, the more you bring it inside, just because of the anatomy of the hip, it's going to force it down to the belly button or lower. So that's the perfect test. But if you bend your knees, scooping, this is kind of like the 2x4 in Pilates, then exhale till the core pushes out, hold that connection and breathe in, all of a sudden, bam. So then you get a normal range of motion. So that's kind of it. I just wanted to kind of touch on a couple of things, let you know how serious about this stuff I am, and how I think I can make, we could collaborate, but also potentially make your company some extra dollars in the process. So that's always a good thing. So, bye.